you want to make hard Sudokus quick and easy, I'll show you a proven strategy that will keep you from getting stuck on puzzles like this. Click below if you want to give this puzzle a go. And with that, it's solving time. Look at all these fours. With these two fours in rows 1 and 2, and the fours in columns 2 and 3, there's only one place to put a 4 in block 1. Greetings, friend. Julian Locke made a slightly harder version of a championship puzzle here that I'm going to solve for you. Thank you, Julian, for this puzzle. And now I'll show you that proven strategy you need when you get stuck. First, let's find all the restrictions. Looking at the ones, there's not much we can do there as far as solving goes or marking. Same with the twos. If we move on to the threes, though, you might notice with these two threes in columns 6 and 5, there are only two places for a 3 in block 8. So I'll do a little Snyder notation. Mark when there's only two possibilities for a candidate in a 3x3 block. Nothing else for the threes. And the fours, we did our one solve there. Move on to the fives, though. You may notice that there's only two possibilities for a 5 in block 1. So I'll make Snyder marks in block 1. No other marks we can make with the 5s, but the 6s, there's something interesting going on. You might see if the 6 is in the same row as the 5 here in row 2, and 6 and 5 are both in column 3. So you put Snyder 6s right here. It's a nice little bonus tip for you. You end up in this situation, you got Snyder on top of each other. This is a 5-6 hidden pair. And what it means is since the 5 and 6 can only be in those two spots, no other candidates can be there, so we can eliminate all the candidates and just keep that as a 5 and a 6. This is not the proven strategy, but it's very helpful for medium and hard puzzles to mark these hidden pairs. Also look with these two 6s and these two 6s, we can solve for a 6 in block 9. All right, look at the 7s. With these two 7s in columns 7 and 9, you can do Snyder 7s here in block 3, but we can actually improve upon that a little bit. If you look at this cell a little bit closer and notice what can it be? Cannot be a 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5 or 6, an 8 or 9. So this is actually a naked single 7. So you can just solve that for 7 right away. And it's going to help us with some solving later on in the puzzle. Nothing else with the 7s. Go to the 8s. And with this 8, you have Snyder 8s in block 1. And then I'm going to show you a really cool trick here that's going to help you determine which one of these purple cells is an 8. You might notice there's two 8s right here, so the 8's can be in one of these three spots. But we can do a little bit more marking to let you know exactly which one of these cells is an 8. With the 8 in column 1 and the 8 in row 9, there's only two places for an 8 in block 7. And so since these 8s are in block 7 in the same row, they're a pointing pair. This means that an 8 has to be somewhere in the block. They're limited to the same row, so you cannot have an 8 anywhere else outside of the row in that block. So you can't have 8s in any of these spots anymore. Since you have an 8 right here, this is going to be the only places 8s can go in block 8. Okay, and then with these two 8s, you can put Snyder 8s here in block 5. And then what you might notice is that the 8s are restricted now in blocks 5 and 8 to columns 4 and 5. So an 8's got to be here and here, or here and here. Some people call this a mini X-wing, but what it means to you is now you know that the 8 in column 6 cannot be in any of these two blocks. It has to be in one of these two spots. So this is actually a claiming pair. There's a way to find that. And now what you might see is since the 8s are here in block 2 and they can't be here or here anymore, and they can't be there because of this 8, you can solve this purple cell for an 8. I thought that was a pretty nifty tip there and trick. And sometimes my viewers enjoy tips like this so much, they buy me coffees like Aaron Wells, James Armstrong, and Jesse King all did last month. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And now we can move on to the 9s. And what you'll see is in block 2, since you have a 9 right here, can't be in that spot, and it can't be here because of the hidden pair, you can solve this cell now for a 9. And then with these two 9s and this 9, you can solve for a 9 in block 8. Only place for a 9 in block 7 is right there. And then with this 9, you have Snyder 9s in block 4. And with this 9 and this 9, you have Snyder 9s here in block 1. Noticing they're on top of each other, that's an 8-9 hidden pair. So we can now solve this cell for a 7. All right, after making all those marks, you can go right through the candidates again, see if we have any more easy solves. That's just a nice little tip for you. Since we went sequentially from 1 through 9, I always want to go back before I look for harder strategies and that proven strategy, which we are going to get to here in just a little bit. You might see with these 2s, now we can put Snyder 2s in block 7. And then with this 4-5 in column 7, and this 4-5 in row 8, the 4 and 5 are both restricted to these 2 cells in block 9. So you got another hidden pair, 4, 5. A lot of hidden pairs here. But let's stay here now in row 9. You may not think there's anything we can solve here because you only have 4 digits, a 6, 7, 8, or 9. I talk about a term, a heavy house, if you have 5 or more digits. However, there's a lot feeding into one of these particular cells. Look at this cell right here. What can it be? Can't be a 6, 7, 8, 9 because that's in the row. It can't be a 1, 2, or a 4 because that's in the column. So that's 7 digits that it can't be. And it can't be a 5 because the 5 is in the block. So this is a naked single 3. And that's going to help you if you can find those naked singles like that. And now by finding that naked single 3, we can do a little bit more solving here. Because now you have the 7, 8 right here, which forces you to put a 7, 8 hidden pair in block 7. This is going to be a nice 1, 2 naked pair in block 7 as well, which now restricts the 3, 5, and 6 to these 3 cells. Because of that 3 right there, that's the only place the 3 can go, and you have a 5, 6 naked pair right there. You notice we're putting a lot of bi-value cells in, and usually you get a lot of bi-value cells, you get close to start doing some advanced strategies, like the proven strategy I'm going to show you. And we can do a little bit more marking. Because of this one, you can put Snyder 1s now in block 4. With the 7s that we have solved, you can put 7s here in block 2. Look at the 6s, with this 6 and this 6. 6s are restricted 2 spots in block 4, finding those restrictions. And then there's something really cool I'm going to show you here. Look across row 1, you'll notice that all that's left is a 5 or a 6, right? 5, 6 there, 5, 6 there. That's a 5, 6 naked pair. And then you come down column 1, and these 2 cells in orange are also a 5, 6. So you see something like this, be curious, look at that 4th cell, that's kind of the intersection. What can go right there? And what you might see is it can't be a 1, 2, 3, or a 4. It cannot be a 7, an 8, or a 9. This is actually another 5, 6 naked pair. So you have something really cool going on here, right? You have 5 and 6 here, 5 and 6 here. And you might think, okay, Timberlake, wouldn't this cause a deadly pattern and you'd have 2 solutions to the puzzle because all those are 5 or 6s and then in the same 2 rows in the same 2 columns? Well, I'm going to give you that answer of why this is not a deadly trap and that this puzzle still has a unique solution. And before I tell you that, I want you to know you may be able to solve puzzles like Sherlock Holmes, the famous detective. My next puzzle pack features brand new puzzles by Bondi and has you solving puzzles just like the famous detective Sherlock Holmes. And the real value is you get to learn and practice new techniques in a fun way. You join the Smarty Party like my new members, Amram and Bondi, and I'll send you my next pack along with a new one each month. You solve those and give me the correct solution, I'll give you a video shout out, just like Christopher, Aaron Wells, John Balaus, and Carol Emmerich, who all solved my September reward pack. So click the pinned comment today because you want to solve like Sherlock Holmes, right? All right, the reason why this is not a uniqueness situation is because these 4 cells are in 4 different blocks. 2 rows, 2 columns, but they're in 4 different blocks. And since they're in 4 different blocks, you can have, 5 or 6 being one of these outside cells here, and that will affect which one of these orange cells contains the 5s and which ones contain the 6, and it preserves that unique solution. But we can do a little bit more marking here because this is a 5, 6 naked pair. you know this is going to be a 1, 2, 3, or an 8 down column 4. So this can't be a 3, and this can't be a 1 or a 3, and this cannot be an 8 because it's 7, 8 naked pair, and I believe that can still be a 1, 2, 3, or an 8. Same thing across row 5. This can be a 1, 4, 7, 9 because you already have the 2, 3, 8 and the 5, 6. This can't be a 7 because there's 7 in the block. This cannot be a 4. This cannot be a 1 or a 9, and this cannot be a 4. So we made some more marks here pretty quickly thanks to our naked pair. And this is not our proven strategy. However, it's going to help set that up. And so now we might notice there's something kind of cool going on here. This cell cannot be an 8 because of this claiming pair of 8s, right? And if you notice here, you got a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in block 3. So these 4 cells have to be a 1, 2, 3, or a 9. And this is really cool. I think you're going to like when you see this. This is a 1, 2, 3, or 9. These 4 cells right here form a naked quadruple. All right, they're a naked quad, 1, 2, 3, or 9. Those are the only 4 digits that go in those 4 cells. And since 1, 2, 3, and 9 have to be in these 4 cells, they cannot be in any other cell along row 3. So this can no longer contain a 9. If you put a 9 there, you're going to end up running out of places to put these 1, 2s, and 3s in the green cells. And so we can make another solve. And this isn't even our proven strategy. This is really cool. Naked quads are cool. But this is just going to help us set up to the spot where you're really going to get stuck. Okay, so now do the 8 and the 9 right there. And with this 8, you can solve for an 8 right here. Looking good. We can remove this 9 now. And what you're going to end up with is you can remove the 9 from right here. There's quite a bit of solving. So that's a 9, that's a 1. All right, this is going to be a 7, and that's an 8. Looking good. All right, and with the 9, you know, this is going to be a 1. That's going to be a 4. This has to be your 7. This place in that Snyder 7, you can solve for a 7 right there. All right, so far still looking really good. Let's see what else we can do here. You need a 5 or a 6. Well, with this 6, now that's going to be your 5. That's going to be your 6. That's going to be your 5. And that's going to be your 6. So you notice now we're going to get the 6, 5, 6, 5 all taken care of for that 5, 6, the double naked pair. And what you have left here is we're missing a 7, and we're missing a 5 right there. Nice. And then what other solving can we do? Well, you might notice here too that this cell can only be a 1 or a 2. With this 4, you got a 5 right there and a 4 right there. Okay. And then with these 2 9s and this 9, you can solve for a 9 right there. And that's going to restrict you here to a 2, 3, and a 5. You got the 3 and a 5 right there. The 5 repeated. We can solve all 3. Use my neat naked triple trick. That's got to be a 5. That's got to be a 2. And that's going to be your 3. All right, with this 2, that's going to be an 8. Clean up a lot of this, which means this now has to be your 8. I'll keep the 3 right there. And then what we have right here is a 6. And then right here in these 2 cells, this is going to be a nice 2, 4 naked pair. Okay, we're getting close to that spot where we're going to need the advanced strategy because pretty soon we're going to get stuck. So that's just going to be a 1 or a 9 with that 2. You can remove the 2 from right there, all right? And you just keep trimming off as much as you can, all these cells. And you might notice here that this is also a 1, 2, or 3. And you can solve this cell for a 9 now because that's the only place that 9 goes. 1, 2, or 3 here because of this 1. That can't be a 1. So you have a pointing pair of 1s. And you're like, okay, yeah, we're going to be able to solve this, right? Because then that won't be a 1 anymore. All right, looking good. We got a 1, 2, 3 here. So that means we can solve this cell. Can't be anything else but a 5. All right, looking good. And then you have what would be a 1, 2, or 4 down here. And because of this one, you can remove the 1 from right there. And this is where you're going to get stuck. A lot of 1, 2s, and 3s. There's a couple 4s. That's all we have. So where do you go from here? This is where I'm going to show you my proven strategy. And before I reveal that, I just want to thank you again for your support. I actually donate a portion of my proceeds to Agape International Missions, AIM. Last month, we raised $90 to stop human trafficking, bringing our yearly total to $145. That's just going to keep going up. You want to follow my volunteer efforts with AIM? Just check out my Smart Hobbies Instagram page. So this is the cell that we want to look at trying to solve. You might notice if you use these 4 cells, you could do a unique rectangle, but I want to go past that. I want a nice proven strategy that doesn't require uniqueness. And here it is. What you might see here is that with this 3, that can no longer be a 3. So you have a 1, 2 right there, right? And in this cell, it's also a 1, 2. And then in the row, you have a 1, 2 right there. And then with that block, you have a 1 or a 2. So if this was a 1 in the blue, that would be a 2. This other cell would be a 1. So the blue cells will both contain a 1. And then these orange cells will both contain a 2. Conversely, if this is a 2, that'd be a 1, that'd be a 2, and that'd be a 1. So what I just did is called multicoloring. We're just alternating. You know, one of these, we don't know if it's a 1 or 2, but this has to be a 1 or 2. This has to be the opposite. Because they're a conjugate pair. You know, if this is a 1, then that has to be the 2, and so they kind of rely on each other. And so what we know is that whatever this cell is, this is going to be the opposite. So this cell right here cannot contain a 1 or a 2, because if it did, then you would mess up this nice multicoloring chain. And so we can remove the 2 from right there and solve this cell for a 3. Multicoloring, very powerful strategy, proven strategy. You might also notice this can be solved using a remote pair of 1 and 2 because it's all the same bi-value cells. Either way, I kind of like using the coloring, but the remote pair is the same. But you can learn more about multicoloring in this tutorial. Because what does this 3 do for us now? Let's see how far we can get. Remove all the colors. We know this can't be a 3, so we'll remove that 3 there. And this can't be a 3. And so the only place for a 3 in block 9 is right there, which means that's going to be a 2, that's going to be a 3, and that's going to be a 1. Now where can we go with this? Well, that's a 2 and that's a 1. Nice. This is a 2, that's a 1, that's a 2. All right, looking good. Here's a 4, 2, 4, 1, looking great. And then with this 1, that's going to be a 2, and our last digit now is a 1. Challenge yourself to use multicoloring with this next puzzle by Julian Locke. Thank you so much for watching.